What's up, everyone? Online prep coach, ask here at prepcoach.com. Today, coming back with Becoming Superhuman video 2. The first video is actually the longest video I put out on YouTube. That's what started me doing all these seminars and things like that. I wanted to follow up from that and really talk heavily about the scheduling, because I see in today's society, I think a lot of the problems are coming back to scheduling and stress management. So I think having a very applicable video showing you guys how I do things could really help people out just to get more out of their day and be happier while doing it. So we're gonna kind of bounce all over the place. We're gonna be looking at some basic things we should remember, scheduling practices, prioritizing, things like that to be able to get everything done in your day, be happy, be vibrant, and enjoy life. Because if you're not enjoying life, then who cares what you're getting done? So I think a couple things, and I say this with as much kindness and respect I can. Usually our schedules are dictated by a clock. If we understand quantum biology, not even understanding that, think about how irrelevant time actually is. We need time in order to obviously set up meetings, in order to have civilized societies. That's fine. But once we're becoming a slave to that clock, that's when problems start to arise. So number one, what we're really looking at is time. Now I'm putting a question mark there, because is it really that important? So let's think about this thought process for a second, because this kind of spins off into number two, which is want versus need. So normally what happens? Your alarm wakes you up to start the day off. Most people jump out of bed because time says you have to be at work in 2 hours. And you wanted to sleep in, get as much sleep as you could. But in reality, you would like 3 hours in the morning in order to get your training done, get your food eaten, get kids to school, whatever your schedule is, and whatever arbitrary time frame that is, because time doesn't really matter, right? And then finally get to work. But instead, you sleep in the extra hour, you wake up, you're rushed. So you're starting off the day in a sympathetic state. You are starting off the day caring too much about the clock and about time. So if we can reframe time and how important or not important it is, that to me is step number one. The ideal waking up scenario can still be with a clock, but we do not rush out of bed. We obviously turn the alarm off quick because they're always the annoying noises, right? The dreaded noise of that iPhone alarm gets everyone out of bed because it just doesn't sound good. But you turn it off, wait. Take a second, breathe, and say that mantra in your head, everything in life's an opportunity. Say it 3, 4, 5 times. Force yourself to slow down and not jump out of bed. What we're trying to do here is train your body to focus on quality versus quantity. So most people, again, rush out of bed, get your day going because, you gotta hurry up. And then you drop your water, gotta refill your water. You drop your phone, it falls onto the couch, you gotta get on the ground and find it. So you end up wasting time because you're too sympathetic, too rushed, too worried, instead of take a step back, literally, take a breath, chill, and slowly focus on the quality that you're spending in your day, right? I've had a lot of people go through that same phenomenon of they forget if they brush their teeth or if they wash their hair in the shower with shampoo or conditioner because they're that rushed. So rule number one is, first of all, look at time. Understand, yes, we are not talking about being late for things. We're not talking about being too hippie and saying, oh, time's fake, it doesn't matter, because we need that for a civilized society. But the pressure you put on yourself because of that arbitrary clock should not be there. Because then you get in the car, you drive to work, or you drive to whatever you have to do, right? Or for me, I don't drive anywhere, but I go to my office, right? If you're seeing that you have 30 minutes to get to work and it's an hour drive, is it worth speeding to get there on time and potentially dying in a car accident or hitting someone else and causing them extreme pain, damage, or death? It's not. When you sit back and think about it like that, you go, okay, today I'll be late. I'll call ahead or let them know, no big deal. But tomorrow I'll get up earlier, or I'll change something so this doesn't happen again. Because if you, fail to prepare to fail, whatever that phrase is, right? We're trying to prepare ourselves so that we do not fail. If you do fail, that's fine, correct it for tomorrow. But in that moment, do not worry about rushing to get to work and texting people on the way because you were too busy to rush in the morning, you didn't have time to text them, so you're trying to multitask. Our brain is not that good at multitasking. So we don't multitask. We do not care too much about the clock. We can change the things, the habits for tomorrow, but time. Disassociate from time. I'm to the point right now in my life where I don't even look at the clock very much anymore. I do during the day for little things and appointments and meetings and things like that. But in reality, at nighttime, I want to play with my kids. I want to hang out with my wife. I want to do these things. And I don't care if I get to bed an hour later, 2 hours later, whatever. I'll try and make up that sleep later on. I'll miss a workout later on. I'll need to sleep extra to make up for that. Because I have every goal in a 24-hour period. And that's where a clock matters. Because we generally, as humans, we have 24 hours in a day. So how come I or other people get more out of it than you or your friend or whoever, right? So start to change your association with time. And we won't get into the quantum world. We will not talk about time and space and how irrelevant it is because it's just not conducive for this conversation yet. We'll build to that. Now 2, want versus need. This is very important because what plays off of time is your boss who he says, get to work at 9 a.m. I don't know when people start work. I'm an oddball, I'm at 2 or 3 a.m. But let's say that you have to get to work at 9 a.m., right? Does he want you to be there or do you need to be there at 9 a.m.? That's a job. Those are rules. So you need to follow those rules. You need to be there. Once you're there, if you have a pile of work to do and boss says, gotta prioritize this, but someone else says, prioritize that, well, he's your boss. So you listen to him. The other person who wants other work done, they want you to get that work done. They don't need it. The boss needs it. So we're trying to see want versus need. This could also be seen in the coaching community with myself, where someone might text you or email you and they want a response right now. The problem is, do they need it? So whether you respond in 5 minutes, 5 hours, or the next day, in reality, they might want it sooner, but do they need it sooner? And that's not saying to slack off on emails, but that's saying do not get yourself over worried and angry and overstressed because you have an inbox full of emails. To me, if you're being successful, you should probably never have a clear inbox. I never have a clear inbox. That being said, I also don't let responses go too long because that's just not good business and that's not fair. But understanding what people want versus what they need is very different. If you can delineate between the two and just see what people need, then that takes the priority versus what they want, which goes below that. And after you get the priorities done, then you go from the needs to the wants. So understanding that's very important. Now we have the shifting priorities, which I think is massively beneficial. We've talked about that beforehand. So shifting priorities. So literally have a list of your priorities. Mine is always family, work, and then I kind of put my health and education in the same, and then I have my other goals, essentially. Now, interlaced within all of those is being a good human being. So I kind of always have that with every decision I make, where what would a good person do? What would the best human being, what would a superhuman who is trying to be the best human being possible, what would they do? That'll help you make decisions. But either way, if you have these priorities, and let's say you start your day off and you wake your kids up for school, right? It's their time. They are the number one priority right then. So at that time, they're number one. Then they go to school and your workday starts. Well, your family, they're taking care of, they're doing their own thing. That shifts and then work becomes the one priority and family second. But if you're working and you get a call that your kid is sick, has to go to the hospital, shifts back, work is the second priority, and now the family is the primary priority. You close your work down, you take care of your family, and then afterwards, you make up the work that you missed that day, or you prioritize it for the next day. So if you're doing this right, you'll have your daily schedule, which we're gonna go over mine in a second. Then from there, you will shift priorities based on what's going on. So what this will look like, and again, you'll see I put my own health before, or rather after, my family and work. That does not mean that you let yourself go. That does not mean you don't prioritize yourself. That means you have to get better at scheduling. So we're gonna break that down to show you how this makes sense. So roughly, I'm gonna leave out time and everything here, but I get up in the morning and it's either gym or work or both. So first thing I do, I get up in the morning and that's the first thing I do. Second thing after gym and work is family. Get everyone up for the day, get everyone fed, make sure everyone is happy, they're woken up with love. Meaning the first thing I do with my wife and my kids is I kiss them, I hug them, I say, I love you, and how'd you sleep? You start off everything on a positive note. And that's the other thing over here. Number 4, big thing is always being positive. finding the way to make the positive spin on everything, because everything has a positive spin. So that is going back to this today, right? So family, okay, everyone up, breakfast, get them to school, cool. Now what happens? Now we have actual work. So now it's the work day, it's emails, it's calls, it's programming, it's whatever it has to be. And then after all my work is done for the day, I do my education. So I will make sure that every day I am learning and spending at least an hour reading, learning something new. Once I do that, because the way I schedule that is after all this work is done, my brain is pretty depleted, it's pretty destroyed. I learn then because it has a big bolus and increase in glial cell line drive neurotrophic factor, which means you can hypertrophy the brain a little bit faster if you're doing things in that kind of a stressed, depleted scenario. So that's where the education comes in. I then follow it up with more hemodynamic flow to the brain to then recover from the workday. So this is where my second workout of the day comes in, my health workout, where it's sauna, I'm pointing because it's over there, halotherapy, carbon dioxide therapy, voltage, microcurrent work, all that fun stuff goes in there to then not only solidify and make sure I'm not having any synaptic pruning problems, which with the education I also do, we're gonna call it skill work, where that is learning a new skill, Rubik's Cube, opposite non-dominant hand, things like that. We do that, we recover from the day, because then that sets me up for the night. Then the night is wherever we come back and we have all of our family time. So we're not multitasking. If I'm with my family, I am not working. If there are scenarios where I have to do both, I explain to them, they know, and that's cool, that's more than fine. But that's only usually on the weekends, if it's, again, or during the weekdays when there's games and things like that, or people competing. But that family time is our family time. We'll play outside, we'll have dinner, we'll play more, we'll do bubbles, we'll read stories. Then the kids have a playroom, sleepover, whatever they want to do for that night. And then what I do is I have a date. This might not apply to everyone, but if you're in this world of having a family, you cannot neglect your partner. Your partner's your best friend. You need to always treat them like you're dating. So when kids come along, it's more added stress to the schedule, just more things to do in a day. If you stop dating, the relationship slowly dies. So whenever the kids are doing their own thing, me and Lindsay have a little date. It's only 35 minutes. Lately we watched Shark Tank. I'll eat a fruit bowl. She'll have whatever she's eating for the night. We'll enjoy our time, relax. We then put the kids to bed, right? Brush our teeth, they take their supplements, and then we have our nighttime routine where we get ourselves ready for bed and make sure that we're set up to sleep well that night. At that point, I'll do an assessment of how many hours I have left in the day, of how many hours I get to sleep that night, how hard that day was, and how much recovery I actually need. So it could be pushing up more restore sleep, so more epitalin. It could be pushing up more players like saffron, or maybe more vitamin C and glutathione, or fill in the blank with whatever you think you need to recover for that day. Again, I'm not caring about time, but I'm looking at the clock just to know roughly what I have to do supplement-wise, so I can wake up tomorrow morning and do the same thing again. So that's the perfect day. Reality, though, is balanced, meaning for order, there's chaos. That's how reality works in the entire omniverse. So because of that, we try and have orderly chaos as much as possible. So what that means is, let's say we're going through the same day, but the example before is kid gets sick. They get sick during my workday, then the priority shifts and family's the number one priority. And then I will go take them, or Lindsay will, or whatever, and then we'll make sure that they're taken care of, everyone's healthy, then I get back to work. That could mean missing an actual health session or an education section. Because what? These are the priorities. So I'll always put family first and work second, and then everything else after that. That being said, though, you have to make up the difference. So if you're burning the candle at both ends, you either have to make sure the food's there, the supplement's there. Generally, those need to be there anyway, but you need to make up the difference. So when I travel, as a good example, I am working 24/7. I barely sleep. When I get home, I have an entire day only family. Because when I'm in the airport, you have 2 hours waiting in the airport, all those emails and work getting done. You have multiple hours on the plane. I end up working more when I'm traveling and getting more work done than when I'm at home. But that's okay, because then when I get home, the work now drops down to here, right? And instead, it's more family time. Like the other day, I got back from traveling, I took Lila to Chuck E. Cheese, right? Because she was off school and it worked out perfectly. And I also did more recovery-based work to make sure I'm not neglecting my health. Spent the whole day with family, healing, and education. So you're shifting these things around to make sure that you're never destroying your own health in the process to prioritize work and family. Because it is true what they say, if you are not 100%, you can give yourself 100% to anyone else. So, with all that being said, I think, and it shouldn't be the fifth point, but I'm putting it there, love, meaning everyone has to have a support system. They have to have love in their lives. For me, we don't have family, honestly. Lindsay's family's all in Florida. My family is not part of the picture anymore. I have an aunt here who will do anything for us. She's the best, but we're not gonna always ask her to babysit, right? Once in a blue moon we will, and then Lindsay's older sister, younger brother are here with us in this area, but same thing, they have their own lives. So me and Lindsay really only have each other and our kids. So because of that, the love component means you have to have someone in your life that you can count on. Because humanity, our existence, this whole conscious world is about love, connectivity, and connecting with people. And having that bond that you can share with someone. Lindsay's that bond for me. So I could not do all of this without her. Because if things have to shift priorities, and maybe I can't make it to be there for the kids, she can bridge the gap. Or whatever the scenario is. So you need to have a partner. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, business partner, best friend, whatever it is, to fill that love gap, to help you whenever you need help. Because no one can do anything by themselves. That's just pretty much a fallacy. We need love and people we can count on. Because I could not have my schedule and shift my priorities if I didn't have a plan B. My plan B is my wife. She's never let me down, I've never let her down, and we've proven it. We can conquer anything. 4 kids, 4 dogs, multiple businesses, still have the best relationship, the best intimacy life ever, the best everything, right? We can only do that because we've grown together, we've gotten stronger together, and we have that mutual respect and honor for each other. We both want us to succeed, want our families to succeed, and want to be fun and have a fun life doing that. Because as cool as it is to be progressive and be successful, if you lose out on the family time and the people you love, what's the point of working so hard? Right? Like I only started caring about money whenever I had kids because I realized I could buy security and I could buy peace of mind. Other than that, money doesn't really matter that much. It's cool to have these toys and stuff like that, like in here, down here in my gym and all this kind of stuff. But in reality, if you don't have that love, things don't really matter. And you can work harder if you have that. If you have people you're working for versus just doing it for yourself, the motivation's endless. So to me, I think those are the top 5 things that'll help people become superhuman. Whatever your schedule is, watch this again, go back and just plug in your basic days, right? Because this is a general day. The work portion will shift where Thursdays will be more content creation. Wednesdays will be more consult calls. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday are more check-ins and things like that. Tuesdays are more client programs. And then things will get interspersed and interlaced and crossed in between, but I have a rough schedule. And then if I have to pivot and shift, I work backwards from there based on priority. Because within these micro priorities, right? If you have like work priorities, okay, do I have a client program I have to get done versus a consult call versus an actual flight versus whatever it is. So you can base it off of what needs your attention immediately and what can wait. And that goes back to what people need versus what they want. And again, not saying that in a negative way at all. If people can master this right here, disassociating from time, understanding what people want versus what people need, understand how you can shift prioritizing, making sure everything in life you make a positive spin on it, and then having that partner that you can love and be a part of and help with your journey and help them with their journey. To me, this is the only reason why I could do everything I do in a 24-hour period, not stressed, be happy, be healthy, be successful, and have it all and do it all. But I've said that so many times. If you want to have it all, you have to do it all. That means not just training and nutrition, education, family, like the hippie stuff, the new high-tech stuff, like the new, like literally everything. If you want to have it all, you have to do it all. And that is not simple. It does not happen fast or overnight, but if you can slowly make these changes, you'll start shifting your life into a more positive direction. So I hope this helps. Probably more parts of this, but I think the scheduling aspect is really gonna help a lot of people out.